Book 1907, The Decline of Reading, A Crisis in the Postliterate Age. Imagine a world where reading is no longer a fundamental part of our daily lives. A world where people prefer to watch or listen to news instead of reading about it. Unfortunately, this world is not too far away. In fact, it's already here. The National Endowment for the Arts reports that fewer than half of all adults in the United States read a book of any kind in 2022. This decline in reading cuts across age groups, gender, and education levels. The Library of Alexandria, one of the greatest intellectual achievements in human history, was once the center of knowledge and learning. However, its decline and eventual destruction serve as a cautionary tale. Historians believe that the library's demise was not due to war or dramatic incidents, but rather negligence and the lack of will to preserve it. Today, we face a similar crisis. Americans are reading less, and the books they do read are simpler and less challenging. The shift towards a post-literate age is not just about a decline in reading habits. It's also about the way people consume information. With the rise of social media, emails, and text messages, people are bombarded with short, fragmented texts that lack depth and complexity. This has led to a decline in critical thinking and analytical skills. Marianne Wolf, a cognitive neuroscientist, argues that people are losing the ability to think deeply about writing and are instead becoming proficient in decoding individual words, but not in comprehension and synthesis. The consequences of this decline are far-reaching. Reading is not just a skill or a mode of communication. It shapes our consciousness, politics, and culture. The media we use to interact with one another shape the world we inhabit. The decline of reading will bring about changes of the same magnitude, affecting our innermost thoughts, our society's politics and culture, and how we tell the history of our civilization. Even the best-educated members of society are not immune to this trend. Students at elite universities view reading as an unnecessary burden, preferring to get information through summaries and excerpts rather than reading complete primary texts. This attitude towards reading is not just a matter of personal preference. It has serious implications for our understanding of the world and our ability to engage with complex ideas. The decline of reading is not just a problem for individuals. It's a societal issue that requires a collective response. We need to recognize the value of reading and make it a priority in our lives. We need to create a culture that values knowledge, critical thinking, and analytical skills. We need to support our schools and libraries and provide our children with access to a wide range of books and reading materials. The story of the Library of Alexandria serves as a reminder of the importance of preserving knowledge and learning.
But we must not let history repeat itself.
We must take action to promote reading and literacy and to ensure that future generations have access to the knowledge and ideas that will shape their world. So what can we do to reverse this trend? We can start by making reading a priority in our lives. We can read to our children and encourage them to read for pleasure. We can support our schools and libraries and advocate for policies that promote literacy and education. And we can also recognize the value of reading and make it a central part of our culture. The decline of reading is a complex issue with no easy solutions. However, by working together, we can create a culture that values knowledge, critical thinking, and analytical skills. We can ensure that future generations have access to the knowledge and ideas that will shape their world. We can preserve the legacy of the Library of Alexandria and create a brighter future for ourselves and for generations to come. Imagine a world where reading is once again a fundamental part of our daily lives. A world where people value knowledge, critical thinking, and analytical skills. A world where the decline of reading is a distant memory. This world is possible, but it requires our collective effort and commitment to promoting reading and literacy. The decline of reading is a crisis that affects us all. It's a crisis that requires a collective response. We must work together to promote reading and literacy and to ensure that future generations have access to the knowledge and ideas that will shape their world. We owe it to ourselves, our children, and our society to take action and preserve the legacy of the Library of Alexandria.
The story of the Library of Alexandria serves as a reminder of the importance of preserving knowledge and learning. We must not let history repeat itself.
We must take action to promote reading and literacy and to ensure that future generations have access to the knowledge and ideas that will shape their world.
The future of our society depends on it.